Can't start today without thinking of the people that were affected with the tragic events of 9/11. All of us have a story of where we were, and for those that lost lives or had lives changed, our thoughts and prayers stay with you. I remember we had an open date at Texas, and I was sitting in my office, and somebody came in and said a plane had hit the Twin Towers. And I said, oh gosh, it's awful. Thinking that somebody probably had a stroke or a heart attack or something, and then they came back in and said, Coach, there's a plane down in Pennsylvania and another plane hit the Pentagon, and we had to move immediately because we had President Bush's daughters in school there, and we didn't know where he was at the time, and we didn't know what was really happening, so they felt like that the University of Texas might be an attack as well. So we had to get our players and try to get everybody in our building and downstairs. We had to try to find. We had Chris Sims and his parents worked in New York, so we had a lot going on that day as well. So it's something that you just remember for the rest of your life. So again, thoughts and prayers for all of those who were affected and are still being affected, because that stuff never goes away. I'm a huge fan of App State. Their fans are great. I'm so proud of what they've done with their football program. It's part of the reason I'm in the Hall of Fame is my time there. But their fans were loud. They loved their games. They had a great crowd for Gardner-Webb. They'll be sold out for East Carolina this weekend. And I was laughing after the game, cutting up about not playing them anymore. I really don't like to play them because I'm a fan, and I want them to win. And it's amazing what they've done in their program is the fact that the last 8 Power 5 teams, they've played within 7 points, and they've won 3 of those games. Just about all of them on the road, I think, but us, is amazing. That's just who they are. And those kids fought so hard, and they fought with so much pride, and I thought Sean Clark did a better job with his team than I did with ours. I thought he's a perfect fit there. He's an extension of Coach Moore, who won 3 national championships. They are who they are. They're going to play hard. They're going to run the ball. They're going to have play action. They're going to make it hard to get to the quarterback, and they play hard on defense. So very, very proud of them and the program that they have, and should be a great game with East Carolina up there this weekend. I mean, we know the atmosphere they have at that place, but like I said, I'm a fan, and very, very proud of the program that they have and the way those kids fought on Saturday night. We're 2-0 for the 4th time in 5 years, so I like what we do to start seasons. We've won 4 of the 5 openers as well, and the one that we played at Virginia Tech, I didn't think we coached very well or prepared very well. But this year we're 2-0 versus 2 really tough opponents. It was a fun atmosphere. I love our student body. I thought our fans did a great job even hanging through the rain, but our student body's been unbelievable. They're packed, they're loud, they're engaged, and they make a huge difference for us. And this weekend we're going to have the best crowd we've ever had. We've played an SEC team, then we've got an in-state team with App State, which I said has probably been the best program for the last 20 years in this state. And then you've got a Big Ten team coming in. So we played one of the hardest schedules in the country, and it'll really help us prepare for the start of the ACC. But we need our fans to be really, really loud and make a difference at 3:30 Saturday on ESPN. We made twice as many mistakes in the game Saturday night as we did against South Carolina. It was interesting. Not sure why. It's what you're looking at for all day yesterday and today, trying to figure out why. Did you have too much in? Were they not as focused because they were stuck between an SEC team and a Big Ten team? Did they not have as much respect for App State because they saw the Gardner-Webb video and they didn't look near as good against Gardner-Webb as they did us? We only had a quarter with the quarterback, and he played really, really good. The back's really good. He's a pro guy. So why didn't we play as well? Why didn't we coach as well? I don't know. And those are things you have to answer. We're really, really being hard on the staff and the players. This sounds kind of weird, and for those that want to beat me up, this will be a great opportunity. But we're trying to coach every game on Sunday and Monday like we lost the game. Because when you win a game, you're easier on your grades and you're happy, and everybody just lets things go. We're not letting anything go. We're looking at every possible little detail that we can have to make sure that the assignments are better and get us in the place that we need to be. Players of the game, Omarion Hampton was the offensive player of the game. It was a tremendous performance. I think the 13th best in our school history for a running back with 234 yards, I think, Jeremy, rushing. And he broke a lot of tackles. A lot of that was after contact, and the offensive line did a really good job up front. But we also had some explosive plays. For 2 weeks in a row, Des Evans has played great. And he was the player of the game defensively. So he's playing with a high motor, he's playing with a lot of confidence. And Ben Kiernan is the special teams player of the week. He had 2 balls inside the 20, 1 at the 5. We turned a guy loose, and he got the punt off with a bad snap as well. So he did a great job. Offensively, we rushed the ball very well. We've rushed it at least over 300 yards and 5 touchdowns 7 times since I've been back, and that's the best in the country of any of the Power 5 schools. So when you run the ball for over 300 yards, you're probably going to win most of the time. We cut it as close Saturday night as we could, but that's still probably the reason we won the game. We did a great job responding offensively the second half. We didn't. We came out defensively, and they scored in 6 plays, which you can't have happen. You're supposed to make adjustments at halftime and make sure that they don't move the ball the second half and get off the field. That's that middle 10 minutes of the game that are so important, the 5 before the half and the 5 after. But then offensively, we came right back and responded and came down and scored and did the same in overtime. They score in 3 plays. We scored, then you flip it, and I had to make a decision. Do you go for 2 at that point because your defense is tired and they gave up a touchdown in 3 plays, or do you trust your defense and go, and then we go down and score immediately and then get the 4 plays and off the field by our defense? So defense stepped up at the end of the game and responded really well. Really, really proud of the staff using the 2 timeouts to save the minute 22. We work on 1-minute offense parts of every day with tempo, but we put this exact stuff down every Thursday and have drills just about 109 left, 122 left, 1 timeout, field goal wins. And we work really, really hard on this situation. So I thought Drake did an unbelievable job with the 1-minute drive at the end. He didn't waste the timeouts. We even had the timeout to center the ball for the kick at the end. We overcame a 2nd and 16, I think, which they didn't panic. The coaches did a good job. I thought Chip did a great job of calling plays throughout. So it was a thing of beauty, and I wish we'd made the kick, obviously, because the game should have been over because we're a 39-yard field goal right in front of the sticks. So that's something that we're really, really proud of, but should have finished the game right there. And then we have not won an overtime game. We were 0-4 in overtimes. So that was in my brain as I'm sitting there thinking too. So really, really proud that the guys finally figured out a way to win. And in that game, the pressure's on us. It's not on App State because everybody thinks we've got to win the game. And they can be relaxed and go. We had to step up, and our coaches didn't panic. It's a real downer after you miss a field goal to win a game. So the momentum changes back to App State immediately because they got life. And our guys stepped up and hung in there and made the plays they needed to. Really proud of our 3rd downs offensively, 8 of 13. We're doing a great job on 3rd down, and that's because we're running the ball better on 1st down. We didn't do as well in the red zone. We were 4 of 8 touchdowns. We were 6 of 8 scores, but we made too many mistakes. We had drops. We had penalties. we had things that kept us from scoring 2 or 3 more touchdowns. There was some talk after the game about the Wildcat. Should we throw it out? Really and truly, our tight ends didn't do a good job blocking in both situations. So it wasn't the formation. We'll have to look at, do you still run it? Do you have Drake in there? Because he's such a great player. But it was execution more than the play call when you go back and look at it. Because we've got to do a better job. And our tight ends are some of our best players. We're really disappointed in their execution at that point. Defensively, we messed up by letting their quarterback get comfortable. He hadn't played on the road in a major college game like this, and he came out and hit the play, first play of the game, and we felt like that we didn't make him uncomfortable. The interception that he threw, said Gray was right in his face. So that was probably more to do with it than Don Chapman intercepted it, but Don made a good interception. Then we only got 3 points after the interception, and you need to turn your turnovers into points. But we had the rush close a lot. We didn't have a sack. We hit him a lot. But again, unless you're going to press the receiver some, he doesn't have to hold it. He can get it out of his hands fast. So we've got to do a better job of playing tighter coverage and making sure that we can let our guys get there. We did get the interception, but there are also 3 fumbles on the ground. We didn't get any of the 3, and you got to do that. There's a fumble on the ground at the 5-yard line that just squirts out back, and that's points. So we left some points on the board offensively by not making the 4th and 1, by not making the 3rd and 2, or the 3rd and 1 at the 50 as you're headed in. We blocked in the back going in for another score, and then the penalties defensively killed us. We had about 4 3rd downs and 4th downs that turned into 1st downs because of penalties. Probably the worst one was the face mask by Kevin Hester at the 5-yard line. It's 3rd and 17 or 3rd and 19, something like that. So we're off the field. It's going to be a 5-yard gain, and they punt, and that's points because it's a short punt. And that's the drive that they had the ball 19 plays. And at halftime, they had the ball 42 plays to our 29, which is exactly what we had against South Carolina and Charlotte. And that's a killer now with that clock running. Time of possession has become more of a factor for sure. They had the ball 33 minutes and 39 seconds to 26-21, and they had 87 plays to our 75. So they stayed on the field, and that was their game plan, and they did a good job with it. So we've got to do a better job on 3rd downs. That's what killed us during the ball game. We let them stay on the field too much. And we've got to do a better job not having penalties in key situations when we get in 3rd downs on defense. And now defensive holding is such a critical penalty because it's an automatic 1st down. So it doesn't matter. And we've had one of those 2 weeks in a row. So that's really hurt us. Like we said, it's a shame we didn't finish the game with a field goal. You always want to put yourself in that exact position. We even said you went on the left hash or middle, so we centered the ball because we had a timeout, and Drake did that perfectly and in the game with a kick. But and Ryan did a great job with 2 long kicks and his other extra points. So we've got to be able to finish in those situations. We said Ben punted well, had 2 inside the 20. Those should have led to points. I thought we should have been more aggressive on our kickoff returns early. There were some deep ones that we fair caught, but there were some shorter kicks that we could have, I thought we could have gotten hidden yardage with and had better field position. So we'll look at that this week as well. And then you start looking at Minnesota. They blocked a punt for a touchdown last week against Eastern Michigan. So they're going to come after our punts, and we've got to do a better job. And thank goodness, again, Ben's back there because he manages that very, very well. Minnesota's a really physical team. They're huge on both lines of scrimmage. They're playing great defense. P.J. Fleck's a friend of mine. He's done a tremendous job They were 9-4 last year. He's 5-2 in bowl games. They were 5th in the country in third down defense, so it's going to be a really good challenge for our offense against their defense. And that's going to be fun. Their team competes like PJ competes. He's a competitor. He's high energy. He's positive. He's upbeat. He's done an amazing job at Minnesota. I've never heard of this before, but they kept Eastern Michigan had only 5 minutes with the football the second half during the game Saturday night, and they did not make a first down. I've never seen in modern day football a team not make a first down in a half. So they're really, really good on defense, and they run the ball. They're going to be physical. App State was a great challenge for us because it's going to be a very, very similar game with them coming after us. They have held the ball. They've had the ball in 2 games, 140 plays. Their opponents have had it 98. So the other teams had it less than 50 plays in 2 games. So they're going to keep the ball. So the game plan that we saw for App State, run the ball, play action, is exactly what we're going to see Saturday at 3:30. They're giving up only 131 yards rushing a game, and they're giving up 8 points per game. So they are playing great defense, but they're also playing great complementary football. I saw Jim Harbaugh said the other day that you don't play offense and defense, you play we-fence. We all play together, and I thought it was unique, but it's really true. And we're doing a better job right now of doing the same than we've done in our past. As has been announced, there is a Board of Trustees meeting today at noon. That meeting is called to try to help figure out all the best options for Tez Walker. I'm really, really proud of our Board of Trustees that they're standing up to try to figure out what's best, and so we can see all of our options, get a singular voice, and then move forward. We got too many people saying, should he play? Should he do this? Should we do this? Should this happen? We need to all get in the same room and figure out, number one, what's best for the young man, because we've said in our program we want him treated like I would want my son to be treated, and that's what the Board of Trustees are looking at. So I will leave here and go over there, but very, very proud that our university is trying to step up and make sure that we help the young man. He did obviously come back to the game. I was so disappointed and surprised in the vote with the committee that they voted down his ability to come back and play. I think it's awful. I think it's very poor. It's not fair. There was a path for him to be eligible without question. I didn't know when I told him. NCAA doesn't have to tell him. I have to tell him. So Lonnie Galloway and I told him on Thursday after the meeting. We heard about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And like I said, I was shocked that he's not eligible. But that's the decision they made. Telling him we didn't know if he was going to quit school. He went home Thursday night. We didn't know if he was going to come back for the game. He was really, really distraught and disappointed. We were worried about him. So we thought it was best for him to go home, and he just didn't go to school for the weekend. We did talk him into coming back for the game and felt like that he needed to be picked up. So that's why we asked him to walk out so people could say, sorry, we're for you, we're pulling for you, because this is a young man that totally had his life changed. I mean, we're talking about NIL money opportunities, we're talking about NFL draft. The Senior Bowl took him off the list because he's not going to play. And now we're working with him too. I'll know more today about the possible options for him moving forward. But then Lonnie Galloway and I have to talk to him probably today, tomorrow, about what do you do? Do you want to practice? Do you want to work out for pro scouts and prepare to go to the NFL this year? Do you want to plan on coming back? Because he would graduate in December of next year. But all these options are things that he'll just need to look at and decide what he wants to do. He did tell me he wants to stay in school and get his degree. So that is something that is a real positive, and and something that's good moving forward. Questions?
Mack, in regards to the sacks on Saturday, we talked to Cedric Gray after the game, and he was saying that part of the reason they were able to get sacks is because they were moving Aguilar around a little bit more. Do you think that kind of played a role in not being able to get to the quarterback like you did in this segment?
It did. I do think more than not is we're letting people be too wide open. And Gene and I have talked about it. The staff talked about it. We've got to disguise more. We've got to move around more. We've got to make the quarterback hold the ball more so he doesn't have an easy path to get it out of his hands so quickly. And that's something that we've got to improve.
To follow up on that, you also mentioned there weren't as many blitzes. Was that deliberate at all as well?
No, there were. You don't notice them in a running attack. They run the ball on 3rd and 9. I mean, that's just who they are. And it's but the defense was very similar to the one at South Carolina. It was just that App State's a total different offense. And Minnesota's going to be the same offense as App State. I mean, they're going to run the ball. They're going to be physical. You're not going to get as many sacks. It's why we're protecting our quarterback better. We're running the ball better. And we said the running game's quarterback's best friend. And they keep tight ends in, and they throw more play-action routes when you're running the ball so well, and you run a naked or a bootleg, you're probably not going to get a sack. Maybe you can force him to throw, but that was their whole game plan was to keep the ball, which they did, the first half for sure, and to run the ball and try to stay out there and make 4th downs, take risk. Somebody asked me after the game, why would they 4th and 1 at the 50, why would they fake it and throw to the tight end? I said they had no pressure. They were going after it, man. They could do whatever they wanted to do because they just wanted to win the game. I think give them credit. Their game plan worked better than ours. And thank goodness that it was the perfect game for us because we didn't play well and we won. And you can coach them harder after they don't play well. The coaches understand we got to fix things with more urgency than we thought. We weren't as good as we looked against South Carolina. We're not as bad as we looked against App State. So we're somewhere in between. And now all of this gives us a great opportunity to fix things against a really good team this weekend.
Mack, just to follow up, I know holding AJ off, he had a question for you. When you say disguise more, you mean like blitzes and pressures? You need to get more creative in that way? No,
the defense is good. We can get off of the old we're too passive and all that stuff anymore. That died. We blitzed a whole lot. It's amazing. It's like at one time Sally said, why don't we ever use a trick play? I said, well, we had 2 call, neither one of them worked. So if you're blitzing, you're not getting there. Everybody says you're not blitzing. No, you're still blitzing, you're just not getting there. And we pressured him a lot. We hit him a lot. He got hit on the one that I thought was the grounding call. And they said they hit him, and that's why you can't call it if they're hit him.
You did hit him a lot, but I'm saying disguise. What do you mean by disguise?
Disguise means you show one look and bring another. You show bump on the wide receivers, and then you back off and play 2 deep zone. So he's got to hold it a little bit longer because he's not really sure. I think we've given them too clear a picture. And we got young corners, and they'll get better at this, but we've given them too clear of a picture of what we're in. And it's too easy to go there. So let's change it up. They're not sure if we're blitzing. They're not sure if we're playing zone. They're not sure if we're bumping. They're not sure if we're off. Let's move from this look to that look, and that's what disguise means.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you can say anything else about the BOT meeting, but is this something that was originated outside of your knowledge and you were asked if you come in there, or
yes.
Is this something you participated in maybe bringing about?
No, I was asked to come. I just got a text and said, will you come? And I said, yeah, I've got it. You all are so important that I said I have a press conference that usually finishes at 11:45, but some of these people talk so much and go so long. It could be noon and I could be late, but no, I'm just really proud of a lot of universities say they want to take care of student athletes or students. They don't. This is a great message to everybody that we're concerned and that we're going to take care of this young man. And just like I told them, I don't know what the options are. I mean, I don't know. So somebody says, play him. Well, let's find out. Can you play him? If you do, what are the repercussions? And I know what I think, but I'm not a lawyer. So I feel like in this meeting, they're going to come up with the best options for the young man to present to him and try to help him get another step forward in his life, because he's just been absolutely crushed. And these people are concerned and want to help him, and I'm really proud of that. I don't know that that would happen many places. And again, I told them I don't know what to say. I don't have answers. So this meeting, in my estimation, is to get answers for all of us. So there is one voice. We know what to say. We can tell you this is going to happen, this is going to happen, and this is going to happen. And right now we don't know what that means, because it happened. We all thought he would be eligible.
But you did say legal athletic, not eligibility or anything like that. So when they announced the trustees meeting.
Yeah.
So
I know it's about,
there was obviously some legalities involved.
yeah. And I don't know any more than what I just said. They said, will you come? We're concerned about Tez, and we all want to get on the same page.
Are you optimistic that there is a path returning this year, or do you?
I don't know. I don't know. This is so new for me. And that's why I'm glad. I'm busy. We got Minnesota, but this is important for me to know what we can do. And I'm tired of being asked and not knowing. And he asked me. And I said, I don't know. So there'll be people here with answers, I hope, and we'll all know more this afternoon.
As far as the team goes, what did you see from Teo this week that showed that he learned a lot from his first action last week in second grade?
He was much more confident. He was much more aggressive. Defensive backs across the country want to grab and hold a jersey, and that's the only way. It's the easiest way to get in trouble. And our officials have said this forever. If I see this, it's a penalty with the defensive people. It's holding 100%, or if you see the shoulders turn. Same thing with offensive linemen and tight ends. If I see the change of a body, you're jerking one down, you're turning him, or if I see you trying to get away, and I've told our receivers and our defensive linemen, you force them to call it. If you're getting away from the guy and he's holding you, don't gripe. Get away from him, and then he'll see the jersey pull and he'll call it. So inexperienced guys do that. They want to crutch sometimes. So he's doing a better job of using his hands. He played the ball much better Saturday. Elijah Hussey's really good. I mean, he made the play to win the game, but he nearly made an interception the play before that. I thought he was going to get it, but he's really a really good player. And we got to figure out also, how do we get our best 11 on the field in everything? We didn't know till Thursday afternoon at 4 o'clock Tez wasn't going to play. So now can we get a set group of receivers and let Drake just throw to them? We've been all over the place. Nate's been out. Nate's back. But Tez is out. Those were the two guys that we thought would really come in and help us. We've lost one of them, and the other one hadn't played any. So we got to get set at receiver. What do you do now with British back at running back? Caleb did some good things. Elijah Green did some good things. So we're really looking at personnel across the board.
I hate to hog this. I need to ask a follow-up what you said about the receivers. Getting Tez all those reps, do you think there's been any effect otherwise on that group? Maybe some of the guys that have been out there on the field getting reps maybe weren't getting as many as they could have gotten in practice? Or
Yeah.
did you guys scale Tez's back at all, thinking that maybe he might not?
No, I thought he would start against South Carolina, and I was 100% sure that in looking at his case that he would play this weekend. I was crushed.
Do you think there's been an effect with some of the other guys? Or
I don't.
they've all got enough reps?
I don't know. You'd have to sit down with all of them. You know, when we ask, I got 120. So, and I did tell the coaches, if a guy's not playing as much and he's young, and we've had two games that were hard to get a lot of guys in, have individual meetings with them. Team meetings don't matter. A lot of times the guys don't listen. The ones that need to listen don't listen. So bring the ones in that aren't playing good and find out why and fix it. Bring the ones in that are young and are talented but aren't getting to play, that are pouting, and sit down with them and talk to them about what you need to do to play more. So this is the week you start talking about getting one-on-ones and trying to let everybody understand exactly what's going on.
Mack, in terms of the offensive line, a lot of the talk of the offseason was Will Barnes being out to left tackle. Makes it up with Montrose being available, being able to back inside. Do you feel like he was maybe a little bit more comfortable back into where he was playing last year? And do you feel like the unit with Diego at left tackle could be a line moving forward for you guys?
Yeah, number one, Diego played really well. He had the one bad play that was very obvious that he got too high and they shoved him back in and hit Omarion in the backfield. Other than that, he played really well. So we were pleased with it. But we've got to look at what is the best combination now. Is it too much for William to play guard and tackle? Because he's playing both, and that's harder. Will Ed be healthy for this week? We come in here and talk to you all about it. We really don't know. And then you put him out there, and the trainer says he can try it Tuesday, and then the first time he goes against somebody live, he starts limping. We just don't know those things. And if you don't practice Tuesday and Wednesday, can you play? Can you not be in pads all week and practice on Thursday? And are you ready to be physical against a big physical front like Minnesota? So we're really pleased with Willie Lampkin, really pleased with Diego. Corey Gaynor's the leader in that group. He plays tough all the time. But we've got to get our, and it's great that Diego has given us another body in that group of, we're looking for 8 to 10. We'd like for Travion Green, I always call him the running back at Ohio State because we missed on him. He's a great player.
I called that.
Yeah, I did too. I always do it. When I call him that, he laughs at me now because at least I've told him, I'm going to call you Travion Henderson sometime because he's really good. And he said that's a compliment. So, but trying to get him ready to go, trying to get another one of those guards ready to go. But we've had real bad issues with injuries, a lot more than you should have early. Even John Copenhaver playing with a club on his hand. I mean, it really limited us because he's such a great player for us. So, yeah, we gotta figure out the receiving group. We got to figure out our defensive back group since we lost Dre Boykins. We got to figure out the line group. There's a lot of thinking here we got to do and try to work this out. Art.
Mack, obviously, ball control, that's the game, they run also keep Drake off the field. Defense, it seemed like they were making it harder on him in the secondary. So is it your coach, do you take what they give you, or do you want to take what you want to take? And how do you make Drake more effective when, you're a little softer with the run, but making it harder?
Yeah, Drake's wonderful, and we only want to win, period, 100%. We're not into any of the other stuff. And somebody asked Drake after the game, Jeremy was telling me, and what about you not throwing as much or something? He said, I would have handed it to Omarion too. Nobody could stop him. So it's about winning games. That's all it's about. And Drake's totally about that. And if you run the ball.
Well, he's the best player on the field, so you want to make him as effective as possible. You don't want the other team to take him out of the game.
I want to win the game. And that's it.
Doesn't he help you win it more than anybody?
Yeah, and he did. I just said he had one of the best drives I've ever seen, a Heisman drive at the end of the game to win the game. He made plays with his feet. He played great. If you are insinuating we should throw it every time to make him look better, we're going to win. And Saturday night, that wasn't the best way to win.
That's a good transition to my next question regarding the running game and how excited you are, especially to have Omarion kind of have a breakout game the way that he did. And what does that do for the confidence as far as you having a more balanced offense and not relying so much on Drake when you have other weapons here to work with?
Yeah, you never want to depend on the performance of one guy. If you do and he has a bad day or if he gets hurt, then you don't have a team. We've seen Omarion do this at times. We've seen him do it in practice. We knew it was coming, and it was great to see him break out on Saturday night. And then we forget British had 100 yards against an SEC defense last week. So we thought we were good in the running back room, and we are. We're big. We're physical. Caleb Hood did a good job the other night. Our offensive line's better, and we've had less pressure. So all those things are a positive for us, but we got a bigger test this weekend. The best defense we've played is this weekend so far out of the 3 teams. It is an ongoing competition, and I can't answer the other because I don't know, but we have been inconsistent. It has not been, I had Justin Tucker Zoom with them last week, and I think Justin missed one in 4 years, and he kicks them 60 now, and he doesn't miss any. And I thought it was funny when one of them said, how do you respond after you miss one? I thought, he never misses. So he can't answer that question. That's just not part of it. But yeah, we need to be more consistent. And we kick game-winning field goals every time we do the 1-minute drill. We finish with a field goal to win the game. So it's not like that was the first time we'd walked out there.
Mack, App State and South Carolina are obviously programs you're pretty familiar with, having played them a bunch in your time here. Minnesota's a team that Carolina's never played before in its history. I mean, when you're going against an opponent that you're not as familiar with, like, does that change how you approach scouting? Am I overcomplicating things here, or is it something that the conversation that's been had?
I think, Michael, you're probably overthinking it because the difference is the emotion. They know a lot of the kids on the South Carolina team. They know a lot of the kids on the App State team. So they pick at each other, and they text during the week, and all the families talk and that kind of stuff. Most of them would only know Chris Collins. He is one of their jack players on the team. But other than that, I don't think they'll know anybody from Minnesota. They know about them as a program. We've seen them play Nebraska. We've seen them play Eastern Michigan. They've played both games at home. I was hoping it'd be hot for App State, and it wasn't. I was hoping it'd be hot this weekend. It's not going to be. So the weather gods aren't helping us very much right now with our turf and the heat like we had hoped in early season.
Mack, I wanted to ask you a big picture question about replay a little bit. Where do you kind of fall on the idea of you want to get the play right, but you don't want the game to drag to a halt? And I'm curious, I'm assuming you've talked to Al Riveron, like at the ACC, like what kind of message as a coach, like along those lines, do you send him about how they handle replay?
Yeah, Aaron, what I would like is for every critical play to be reviewed from upstairs without us taking time on the field. And then if they see it's the wrong call, they buzz down and they stop it and say, and that's kind of what's happening anyway, but do it faster. We can see it. We look at review. Don't sit there for 4 minutes on something that's obvious. And if it is a hard one, take your time. And if it's a holding call, it doesn't matter, or don't stop it all the time. But if it is a game-changing play, don't say it's not reviewable. It should be. It's changing the game. And all we want as coaches, all we want as players, all we want as fans is to make sure that the game's called properly. And the team that plays the best has a chance to win. We just want it to be fair. But I can't stand it when they say, well, that's not reviewable. It should be. It changes the game, man. So fix it.
Right. With conversations you might have had like with Al, I mean, also the idea of speed. I mean, you want the game to not kind of grind to a halt. One of those times where maybe guys are looking for every replay angle. If he's really, I mean, do you think that they take too long in a big picture sense about officiating and replay nationally? Or it's just one of those things that it could be case to case? Yeah, it's case to case, but I would like all of us to see it speed up. I don't like the fact that we took away 10, 12 plays per game, but the games are still the same length because we've got more commercials. So we said we wanted to shorten the game. We did, but we didn't shorten the time people are watching it. We took plays away from kids. We took plays away from fans, but we didn't shorten the time we have to sit there. So I don't think it worked. I don't think it's what we needed. But I do think we should have more critical reviews in a shorter period of time.
Mack, real quick, you mentioned Nathan Cullen a second ago. Just kind of wondering what his comfortability is like coming off the injury. He only had the 9 snaps. Just kind of where is he at right now?
I think he's ready to go. He's good. Nate McCullum practiced some last week. He got better. I don't think Lonnie was comfortable. You know, we didn't know whether Nate was going to be full speed or not. We didn't know whether Tez was going to play till Thursday. So Lonnie Galloway's had a tough load here trying to figure all this out with so many unanswered questions. But really feel like Nate's ready to go. So I've asked him after the game, and he said, Coach, I'm good. I could have played tonight, so let's go. So he should be a factor this week.
Along those lines, Mack, would you like to see? I understand you played 2 games, but would you like to see more passes down the field as opposed to? It seems like there's a lot of screens and quick hitter stuff. Or do you think that your personnel right now, just at receiver, just isn't suited to be the most field stretching
No,
thing that you have. You want,
yeah,
I mean, you want to
I'll answer it like I did Arts. I want to win. And we're doing, I like what Chip's doing. We had some deep throws. We threw a deep one to Gavin Blackwell there was an interference call. It's not on record, so nobody remembers it or sees it. We threw a deep one to J.J. Jones, which was a huge play on the post. So do we want to throw? We do want to get more explosive plays. I think that would be your answer, but we'll keep working at that.
Yeah, we got time for one more.
You mentioned cruise control and how important it is to, when you face a team like App State that did it, you face a team down in Minnesota that did it. I feel like, is it really just as simple as just taking advantage of the possessions you do have? Is that how you beat a team that tries to control the time of possession like Minnesota will?
Yes, for instance, 19 of those 42 plays were on one drive, and we should have been off the field, but we had a face mask penalty. And they would have had to punt from the 5-yard line. So you can't do that. You can't extend drives with things that we call it self-inflicted wounds. I mean, you can't do that. He's on the ground, he's tackled, and we grab a face mask. So you got to cut out the penalties, you got to cut out the mental mistakes, and that's hard to do with a bunch of 20-year-olds that have a lot of distractions. But that's what we got to do. That's what coaching is. Adam, last one.
Well, I was just going to throw it in there. Who's the number one kicker in practice this week?
I think we'll look at it and see. Plus, Ryan's been sore some, so that's part of this too. I mean, we're the only one that could have a sore kicker, but we do. So
Physically sore.
yeah. What we do is very honestly, just about every position is open every week. I mean, Drake's isn't. Omarian's probably going to play this week, but British has got to get back in the swing, and he and Caleb will start looking at plays. So you have to earn your plays every day, and nothing's a given. And that's the same with William Barnes and the other two guards and the tackle, and Diego's got to practice good to keep his job because he had a good start. So who's the star? Who's the other corner opposite Marcus Allen? A lot of question marks that you got to get answered, and we have to answer them today, and then we have to watch them tomorrow, and then see if we need to try to change them again before Wednesday. So that's the job we have, and our job is not to sit. Coach Bowden made a great comment that I use all the time. He said the worst thing you can do is practice things that aren't working. So if it's not working, fix it. And I've said, if your player didn't do his job, why? If your player has 5 mistakes, why? Is that because he didn't focus? Well, that's on you. Is that because you didn't teach it right? Is that because you had too much in? Is that because you didn't do the proper drills and get him in the right place in practice? Don't sit there and say, well, he played bad. That doesn't fly. Why? If he played bad and you did everything right, then change him. If all of yours played bad, then maybe it's on you. And that's not very comfortable in those rooms. But I said it's what you got to do is you got to be confident enough that you can be uncomfortable, because it's not uncomfortable to not play good. Thank goodness we didn't play our best and we still won. That we couldn't have done that most of the time since we've been here. This team's older, they're more confident. This staff hung in there together. That was a game that would have been really easy for us to lose. And I'm proud that the guys hung in there and won. And we can jump all over them yesterday and say, okay, we're proud of it. Let's be proud of ourselves. Great win. Now, here's all the things we did wrong that we got to get fixed. So don't be sensitive. Be a great self-evaluator, because that's an important part of growing up, is admitting that you didn't do something right, figuring out why you didn't do it right, and fixing it. And that's who we are this week.
All right. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mack. Appreciate it, Mack. Thank you.